Hey guys, this is Lola, but you can call me Lola if you like.
Hi, this is Velisa, and you can call me Vels if you want. And this is the Everybody Hates HR podcast, episode 109. Almost there.
Yeah. This week you talk about my dog.
Yeah.
So what I've learned over the last, I don't even know how long, is if you're an antisocial person, you shouldn't get a dog. Because I don't know what it is about people and dogs that make them feel that they should come and talk to you. Like, and I don't mind talking to people, but I promise you, I like, you know, now I understand parents where they're like, they know all the parents, I mean, all the kids' names, but they don't know the parents' name. I know all the dogs' names in the park, don't know who their owners are. Yeah, so there's like Poppy and Penny, and there's already the Lola, and there's all these other dogs' names. And like, I took my dog to my client office, and it was like, I have a client that I go up to in Sheffield every other week. And I take the dog, and then I get a dog sitter for her locally, so that when I stay over, she stays with me in a hotel, dog-friendly hotel, but in the day. So everyone keeps saying, bring your dog in. And because my dog is like, I've actually accepted my dog as naughty. We're working on it, but she's actually a very naughty dog. So when she was here doing, like being cute, like she's actually very naughty. Like she anyway, I won't even put her business in the shoes, but she's done some bad things. And, but she likes people. She's very good with people, kids and all that kind of stuff, but she just doesn't listen. And so I brought her into the office in the morning, and literally productivity just hit the floor. Like everybody in the office just gathered around this dog. And I was just like, I can't come in here as your interim head of people and now I'm ruining your productivity. Had to ship her off to the dog sitter, and I brought her back in at the end of the day. But I was like, I was just thinking, like, dog friendly offices, I think it's fine to be dog friendly, but it can't be every dog. It can't be inclusive. It can't be inclusion. It has to be dogs that are the kind of dogs that are just going to sit by your feet. Yeah, sit by your feet and sleep. Not ones that are going to have zoomies in the office. Yeah. Not big dogs. Like, you can't bring your cane corso to the office. So it's only middle class gentrified dogs that you can bring in that are well trained.
Fair.
Because if someone brought their pit bull to the office, people are going to be uncomfortable.
No, it's true. It's true.
But she's like the perfect dog to bring into the office if she was just a bit calmer, because she's very cute and everyone she's not intimidating. Like, I didn't realize that the CFO I work with is afraid of dogs.
Oh, really?
Yeah, but he came and he petted her and he was, I'm actually afraid of dogs. And I was like, oh, but she's fine. He was like, not this dog. This dog is basically a blanket. But yeah, so people in the office are afraid of, can you have, you know, if you have a dog-friendly office, what about people that are afraid of dogs? What happens then? Or all the policies around it, because it's a big thing at once. Now it's just gotten quiet. But
where I used to work, every Wednesday or every Thursday was dog friendly day, so you could bring in, and they had their own work badges and everything, and you could bring them in. And I would always, but there was only one floor they were allowed on, and I would always sit on a different floor.
Because you hate dogs?
It's not even that I hate dogs. There was just too many.
You want to work around them.
Yeah, there was just too many, and
I know
wandering around.
They won't be productive, because if I have to work and Chin-Chin's there, it's fine in my own space, because I know she can just go and do things. But I will be so, like, even when I brought her in, she was doing zoomies in the office, like under the desk, and it's all fun and games, but we also have to work. I don't want you chewing through a wire. I don't want you dying. I don't want you messing stuff up.
For real.
I don't want you to get disorientated and poo on the floor. Like, it's like, even as someone that loves dogs, I don't know if all dogs belong in the office. You can get, you know, the certain dogs can come in, like you can get, not even Yorkshire Terriers and stuff, the small ones, because they're very yappy, but like your cockapoos, your cavapoos, your poodles, nothing that is too high maintenance. Not even a cocker spaniel, because they need too much walking and stuff. So yeah, I'm just saying that I don't think dog friendly offices should always be inclusive of all dogs, unfortunately.
Hear it.
And then all them people that are doing all dogs lives matter or something, all those people,
hear it.
They do matter, but not in the office. Yeah, so I'm adding that to my campaign. Dog friendly offices.
Your list of things.
Dog friendly offices are for certain dogs only. Yeah, that's my PSA for today.
I love that for you. I don't have a PSA.
Do you have HR things to talk about?
I do have a mixture of HR, just relevant about inclusivity, being a business person, so you can step in on this. So a fitness influencer, I believe her name, is it Natalie B Fitness? Yeah. Natalie B Fitness. So a couple years ago, she raised, I think it was just over £20,000 to open a woman only gym.
I just say a lot of that money actually came from Gymshark.
That was what I was just going to say. Yeah. So 20,000 of it came from Gymshark. 2,000 came from just regular donations. The reason she wanted to do a women's only gym was because, like I said, she's an influencer. So she would go to the gym, she'd film herself. And she said during that time, she was, harassed, and, there were comments made, and people physically and verbally, would sexually harass her in different ways. So she was like, I'm going to put my foot forward and I'm going to open a woman only gym. So when she first said she was going to do it, she said that this gym was inclusive of all women. So that would include trans women.
Specifically said trans women. She said some of the women's gyms, they don't include trans women. That doesn't make it.
She said her gym will include trans women. So as you can imagine, Gymshark, probably included in this, made donations based on the assumption that this was going to be an inclusive gym for trans women as well as cis
I don't
women.
know if it would have been the main thing that...
It wouldn't have been the main thing, but that's the information you were given, right?
So it could have been one of the tenets of which they made that decision.
So fast forward a couple years, and basically Natalie has backtracked
She's ready to start. She's started work on the gym now.
Yeah. So the gym is in Wandsworth. Very cute. Pink windows that you can't see through.
It's called the girl spot, the G spot.
It's called the G spot, yeah. So fast forward, and she's quoted her video and stitched her old video on social media and basically said, actually, my gym is for women who are biologically and DNA, everything is women. So you're born a woman, your anatomy, everything, all women,
signed female at birth.
You're a
biological woman.
You're a cis woman, basically. You're a cis woman. So that's who the gym is for. So it's no longer inclusive of trans women. So as some of you may have seen by now, there has been a lot of backlash on Natalie. We have, people like J.K. Rowling getting involved, who obviously has very strong views, opposing views to being inclusive of the trans community. It's been on the news.
J.K. Rowling is actually quite like, I can imagine her just giving more money just to make a point. Do you know what I mean?
A lot of people have said that though. There's been quite a few people who have said, because basically the other part of it is, before we get into our thoughts on it, is Natalie said, you know what, you people who donated and feel like I've misled you, send this email to this address. You're going to get a code and you'll get your money back. Yeah. And she again quote tweeted herself, and nobody has asked for a refund. So I think for me, that's trolling, but obviously she's done it to show that all these people who are talking on her name saying, you misled
the people that gave money.
They're not the people who donated.
And the people that donated, in her view, won't care about that.
Exactly. So I'll let you give your thoughts first, because I've told the story. But it's very interesting.
Depends on what I'm giving my thoughts on.
Like, you on both.
So I think as a business owner, like, it's hard. So you can think like when you're at the conceptual stage, when you're thinking, okay, this is what my business will be like. These are the things. Things always change, and people change. And I'm not saying for the better or for the worse, but I don't know what it is that has made her want to make this change. For all you know, she could have had a bad experience. And I'm not saying it's excusable, but she could have had a bad experience in a gym with, do you know what I mean? Or she went into a changing room and there was a trans woman there and made her feel uncomfortable. I don't know I haven't even watched the video, but I don't know what her reasoning is. And not everyone has to agree with her. Everybody has the right to do what they want, especially if you own a business, you have the right to operate it as you like. Obviously, it's important not to isolate your customers or potential customers. But I do think, to be honest, a lot of people talking, wouldn't have necessarily been her customers. So I think there are a lot of people that care, but I always say this, like, I think more people will not care than will care, because we're just very selfish as a people. And when things don't affect us, we generally don't care. And also, there is a lot of women there are a lot of women who would be like, we had that NHS case about that person who didn't want to, that nurse who didn't want to change in front of the doctor whose name I can't remember, Dr. Upton. And there are a lot of people like that, and that would, I mean, I think it's very unlikely that there'll be a lot of trans women, because there's not that many trans women in the UK. There wouldn't be so many at this gym, but I think it does make a lot of people feel uncomfortable. So I don't really think there's a right or wrong answer to it. But I think as a business, it is sometimes, you know, you want to try as much as you can to do the things that you say you're going to do, and to kind of not mislead people. But things change, and I can actually understand that things change. You might say you wanted to do one thing, you're the founder, your experience of it has changed, you've learned, or you've changed, you've unlearned, or whatever it is. So I don't really have that much to say about it. I do think it's not good to take people's money under one thing, and I think even though she was trolling, I do think that it's good that she has given people the opportunity to get their money back if that's something that affects them. But I think most women don't care. I'll just be honest, most women don't care. Like, most women are not gonna, that's not the rock they're gonna die on. If they wanted to go to a women's only gym, they will be more concerned about it being a women's only gym than they will be the fact that trans women are not included. And it's not, I'm not saying it's good or it's bad, it's just is what it is. We're just selfish. We don't, like, most people won't care. People are talking the loudest are the ones that care, but most of the women who would want to go to that gym, they won't care. But I don't like all of this talking about, oh yeah, but what about Muslim women? What about that? Like, don't speak on them. Let them speak for themselves. But I don't think most people will care. I think it's a bigger issue online than it will be offline.
Oh, 100%.
Like, always with inclusion stuff, like when it comes to trans rights and all of that stuff, there obviously will be a group of people that care a lot about it, but most people don't care about trans rights. You can find me if you like, but they don't. We feel like we're in a place in society where people do care, but they don't. I just like, you're never going to convince me that most people care about trans people's rights.
Most people don't. The majority of the world don't.
It's not even that because they actively are against trans rights, but it's just not on their radar. Like, they don't care. They're too busy trying to deal with the things that affect them on a day-to-day basis. So I don't think it's something that's going to tank her gym. I don't even think unfortunately, I don't think it's like a bad business move or anything. I think the noise is created on social media is one thing, but it's not going to stop people from signing up and going to a gym. Like, if it's local to them, I think very rarely are people going to travel for a gym. So if you open your gym in Wandsworth, you're really you're looking at the Wandsworth community. Anyone tracking from even Southeast London to go to, I'm not going from Southeast London to Wandsworth. So if you put it in Wandsworth, it's about the local Wandsworth community and what they want. And is the fact that it's not a trans inclusive gym going to stop women in Wandsworth from going to your gym? Probably not.
No, it's not.
And that's what it is. So everyone online is talking about this, like, you're in Scunthorpe talking about what she's doing in her gym in Wandsworth. It's pointless.
I think the what I find so interesting and so funny about social media is people have made their own assumptions. So like you said, it's one thing for her to say, yeah, I'm going to be inclusive of trans women and to backtrack on it. She shouldn't have done that, but she did. Yeah. Then people were like, oh, how are you going to, check if somebody is trans or biologically born a woman? She never said that she was going to start a process of checking people as they
fingerprint test as they enter.
She never said
she's going to rely on people to follow the rules that she has set.
Honestly, if you now know where she stands as the owner of that gym,
or not even owner, as a company,
and you are for the trans community, why would you go then?
Yeah, you wouldn't.
She's relying on, okay, don't go then. Like, if you're a trans woman and you now feel like my company, me as a business owner as well, doesn't support you and what you stand for, I'm not expecting you to come.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? I feel like the way that the internet has reacted, is really strange. It's always
like
strange.
If you tell people that it's a women's only gym and what it means, like your definition of, being a woman that is for cisgendered, biological women, and you decide as a trans person that you want to go as some sort of, because I don't know, there's no other gym that you can go to, you really want to go to a women's only gym, then so be it. But obviously, I don't think most people don't want to go where they're not wanted or they don't feel welcomed. And then also, why would you want to do that?
Like, it doesn't, the reaction has been very...
Even if they made a gym and they say no blacks allowed, yeah, even if I felt like I really want to be in that space because they have the best equipment, I'm not going to go, number one, because, like, why would I want to go somewhere where I'm not welcome? And number two, why would I want to just create unnecessary unrest?
Do you know what, though? With that being said, I don't know if you saw it, but there was a gaming competition. It was just It was just for black women, this gaming competition.
Oh, I saw it.
And somebody who was not black but was she was claiming
it
that
depends on the definition of black.
She's not black. Listen, and somebody said it, and I agree with it. Yeah, I'm not even trying to get all political. Just because you have a black parent doesn't mean you're black.
Yeah, she has a mixed race parent.
Yeah, we are not in America. We don't go by the one drop rule. Like,
even in America, I think it's insane.
In America, you can be mixed race and the black community will claim. Look at Obama, first black president. That is a mixed race man. Yeah. He's not a black man. Yeah. So this person, this woman, she has black blood, but she presents from when you see her. Is the issue as a white woman. She's
so she wouldn't have had to deal with a lot of the.
She's very white passing based on the majority of her DNA makeup being white. Yeah.
And she wouldn't have, the whole thing is she wouldn't have gone through her life experiencing the struggles or the lived experience of a black person, or even a mixed race person for that matter. So, and that's the whole point with these competitions, to give opportunities or give a platform to people who have experienced, like racism or experienced disadvantage as a result of their race. So
it was just a safe space for black women to play games. Like,
so that they don't have to like.
They didn't want anyone to infiltrate their space of like, we are gamers, we are black women, this is our safe space, and we don't want anyone to infiltrate this safe space. Yeah, this is our community
for people that have a similar lived experience to us, exactly, or who understand
people
us,
who look like us.
Yes, but the experience is based on how you look. To be honest, how you present. I just don't understand why you would be so desperate to be in that space. Like, it just doesn't make any sense to me. She
created an uproar. I couldn't believe it ended up in the news.
And then, listen, when you have to post your parent to prove that you're black, then
in a shadow. In a shadow as well.
When you have to post your parent to prove that you're black, I just think that's diabolical.
You're doing too much.
Yeah,
and it's okay. Like, you don't
be who you are.
Yeah, like,
do you know who's like that? Well, not who's like that, but is it, I think it's the same mix that Mabel has, right?
Yeah, her mum's Nene Cherry.
Yeah, but
big up Sierra Leone,
Yeah, but her mum's mixed race.
Mixed race,
yeah, and her dad is white. Yeah, so it's like Mabel coming in. Obviously, we all know that Mabel has, she's mixed race. She's 3/4 white and 1/4 black. Is she going to push herself into a space for black women?
I don't know if you really want me to answer that.
No, but she's not a space, but as a black woman. I don't think she's going to come and say I'm a black woman. And Mabel has never said that.
No,
they could culture vulture her forever, but she's never come out and said I'm black, because she knows that it will go down like a lead balloon, because she's not.
Yeah, but the thing is, and I think we've spoken about it before, in the UK, that mixed race people are a race. Like, we have that here. In America, it's almost like they almost, not everybody, but I feel like a large majority of Americans, so you're black or you're white. You've gone to one side, you have to pick a side, or
but you can't pick the white side, by the way.
But if you do, like, it's very clear that by how you are that you've picked your white side. It's like the biracial thing is not really a thing there as much as it's established over here, and it's the fastest growing race in the UK, so it has to be acknowledged over here. Do you know what I mean? I think she could never, like, do you know what I mean? I just don't understand why it's such a big deal, like, and you fight for it. That's why when they talk about Lewis Hamilton, take time. That's a mixed race man. You can't just eliminate half of somebody's being. Anyway, that's a digression, because that's not what that woman was about. She was trying to infiltrate the space. She was trying to assert that she was black. And in America, they do have the one drop rule, but I even think the one drop rule was not even made for her. Like, it's for people that clearly are, like, obviously, if you're mixed race, they just kind of accept you as black. If you're mixed race with black, I mean. But she doesn't even present in that way. And I just think there's been other examples of it. So there was that guy, what is his name? He's like an actor or a writer. Oh, I can't remember his name. But basically, he has a white mother and a white father, but he looks mixed race. Tom Jones? No. Not Tom Jones. I'm going to find it. He has a white mother and a white father, and he had applied for, but he looks mixed race. Okay. People have asserted that, people have tried to say that his mum had an affair because he looks mixed race. Okay. Yeah. But he was like, no, and my brother also looks just like me. But he's basically applied for some funding
or something, or some grants that were for black people, but he has a white mother and a white father, and people said it wasn't good for him to do that. But he was like, I've spent even though I'm white in theory.
Oh, his experience.
And obviously he believes there's some sort of throwback gene, but he's like, even though I'm white in theory, my lived experience is that of a mixed race person. What do you think about that?
That is ridiculous.
But if you're white but you look mixed race and you've experienced racism as a result, then what's the situation?
Because it's not just about that. Like, what sort of background did you come from? Like, who are your parents?
Yeah, but that doesn't matter because
even if you're black, I'm assuming that part of that funding stuff.
I need to find
part of what he's gone and taken funding.
It's about stories as well. Yeah, having like black stories at the forefront and all of that kind of stuff.
That's not your culture. That's not your. What's happening here?
I need to find his name. I think it was Anthony something. Anthony. I think he did something at the Young Vic.
Like, you can't just go based. Okay, granted, okay, you might have had a slightly different experience from your white peers. Of course. Take that, but you can't just jump on funding when you don't have the same cultures and experiences and generational things that have been passed down and natural things that are in our DNA. Like, what is happening here?
I need to find who it is. I want to show you the picture.
Anthony Baffling.
Let me see. I don't even. Now I'm not even sure if his name was Anthony, but he gave himself he went. He went and got a Yoruba name and just added it in because he said he wanted to feel in touch with his. Him. Let me see.
Hold on, I'm gonna type in his name. I love ChatGPT.
Oh, did you ask ChatGPT?
Yeah.
But he gave himself a Yoruba name, and he just shoved. I think it's a Yoruba name. He just shoved it in the middle.
Yeah. Oh, it's Lennon. Anthony Ekundeo Lennon.
Yes.
Oh my gosh. Let me put him.
What did you ask ChatGPT?
I said Anthony Parson stole black fund money.
So what do you think?
I'm still trying to find his picture because it's
here. And the picture, look at him when he was younger.
Oh, I know him.
What do you think?
Are they sure his mum?
He said he's never done a DNA test. And
is that mum telling the truth?
He said he's never done a DNA test because he would have to, for his mum to have cheated, he would have to be having a long-term affair because the...
Excuse me?
We have to put that picture
We
in.
have to put the Excuse me? Listen.
So, but he has experienced his life going through as a mixed race person is what he said. Listen, and I understand that. I understand about
I can see that.
Black stories. He's not going to be able to like share black stories, but he has also immersed himself in like community of like, because obviously he would have been the only.
That is her. That mum needs.
They used to yell slurs at him when he was with his parents.
That's crazy. Okay, fair, but that's only one part of being black.
No, I know, but he said he has experienced racism, so he should also get the benefit from, you know.
That is crazy. This is what white men do. This is what, do you know what I mean? Like, come on. No, if we're going to put the picture in there, that looks like somebody has to, that can't just be a throwback.
It could be a throwback gene.
But if it's a throwback, that means one of the grandparents is like white passing or something.
Maybe. Have you watched that film Passing?
I have.
So rubbish.
Yeah,
the
I did
worst
watch
film.
Passing, yeah.
And also, no, none of them were passing, especially the main ones.
Oh my gosh.
But yeah, do you think it was bad for him to take the funding?
Yeah, of course. It wasn't your funding to take.
Yeah, but he had experienced his life like that.
It wasn't your funding to take.
And I saw some videos of him when he was younger with doing some things with other like mixed race people or other black people. And I need to find it. Oh, look. He was in some film and everyone in the film was black and he was in it as well as the mixed race person, but even though he wasn't mixed race.
Yeah, I've seen his face before.
Anyway, I just think that was interesting. And why did he have to go and find a Yoruba name to add?
See what I mean? Like, you've done too much. Like, that is hilarious.
Anyway.
We digress.
We really digress. But yeah, Natalie, she'll learn and she'll grow.
She will.
I don't know how I feel about her content, to be honest. It's not.
She's always been polarizing.
I'm not her target. I'm not her target.
Me
audience.
neither. She's always been quite polarizing.
She's very into rage bait. Like, oh, look at this man doing this thing to this to this woman in the gym, and blah blah blah. This is what's wrong with you. And I think she's quite happy. She recently had a baby as well, but yeah, I think she's just very. And she's very young. How old is she? She's like
20 something.
Yes, I think she's quite young. But yeah, I just think it's as a 20-something to be. It's a big project to be taken on. I give her grace. I mean, her opinions are her opinions. I don't really care about them, but I do think like if she is not on board with kind of trans inclusivity, and maybe she is just not in her own gym. I don't know. She probably represents most of the UK. I think her views or those views are probably in the majority. That's why I don't think it will affect her businesses anyway.
I mean, look at the climate we're in. Like, yes. What did the government say? Was it not Rishi before he left? What was he saying about transgender people? Like,
exactly.
Of course, yeah. Like
exactly.
If they can stand on that, then
yeah. I don't think it's gonna affect their business too much anyway.
No. Okay, so more like worky HR stuff. So this is interesting. I just want to know, like, what would you prefer? So a third, 33% of UK employees would prefer to be paid weekly, as 7 in 10, 71% of people run out of money before the end of the month. According to new research by Indeed Flex, it shows that there's a strong demand for a weekly pay packet, with only 18% of UK employees paid every 7 days, 5% paid fortnightly, and 71% paid with a single installment at the end of the month.
That's a you problem. I can't lie. I'm not in favor of. I mean, financial well-being and all of that, but also you can do your own.
You can pay yourself weekly.
You can pay yourself weekly. Like if you just, honestly, I was gonna compare to Ozempic, those Ozempic comments, but it's like you can actually just do this for yourself. No shade to Ozempic, but it's like you can actually just do things for yourself. Like we need to stop babying people. Like just manage yourself. And obviously that's just because we're used to monthly pay, and in the US it's more like fortnightly. But I mean, I could turn around and say you can pay them annually. Do you know what I mean? They can divide it into 12 installments, but that's actually a very long time. And most things work on a monthly cycle. Your bills work on a monthly cycle, if not quarterly. You're like, everything just works on a monthly cycle. So why should you get paid? Why would you get paid in any other way? And if we had bills on a weekly cycle, that would make sense. If anything, that would make more sense. But we don't. We just have bills on a monthly cycle. All the things that come out are at the same frequency as the thing that comes in. And so why should we pay people in a different way because they can't manage their money properly? That's just insane. Teach people. You're better off teaching people how to manage their money or how to budget than you are just making it weekly pay so that they can spend their money each
quicker
week and know that they're going to get more money next week. Like, that would be a better thing to do around financial well-being, teaching employees how to budget, how to manage their money, how to do all of those other things rather than just pay them weekly. That's why I have this issue with, like, some companies do salary advances, or most companies will, if, like, you're hard up. And I mean, by the way, if you don't know this, if you're ever like you really need money, most companies will loan you money or they'll advance you on your salary. So let's say you get halfway through the month. Obviously they don't like doing it and they don't do it often, and it should be like a one-off kind of thing. But if you get halfway through the month and you absolutely exhausted your money, you had a big expense, something happened and you don't have any money, you can go to your employer and say, hey, like, can you advance me on my salary? They might say no, but a lot of companies will say yes, especially smaller companies. Bigger companies, it might take a little bit longer. And obviously
they'll still do it though.
Yeah, but obviously it's embarrassing to tell people that you have no money. But I've seen it before where people are like, I literally don't have money to get to work.
I've seen it.
And they will advance you on your salary. And they'll always give you the chat, this is not a permanent solution. It's a one-off. And they don't want to get into the situation where like every month they're advancing you now like a payday loan company. But they will give you money. Like if you need an extra £1,000 or you're just a bit short for the month or £2,000 or whatever, and you just say, just say to your employer, can you advance me? And they will. But it's that kind of thing. It's like, that's helpful as a short-term solution. But we need to be helping employees with longer-term solutions on how to manage their money, because obviously things are getting harder. And also, I've struggled sometimes. I'm like, we're all adults. We are all adults. You have bills to pay. How you get into the... Do you know what? Because they were just saying, it was just act like I'm coming from a complete place of privilege and I don't have bills to pay.
Drag you.
But I'm sorry.
Go on.
If you're getting to the end of the month and you don't have money, why would paying you weekly solve that? That tells me that it's 100% about your budgeting. Like there's a whole thing because it's not solving how much money you have, because that should be the issue. If you're getting to the end of the month, you don't have money because you don't have enough money. That's a completely different conversation than you get to you get halfway through the month and you have no money because you spent it all too quickly. That's different. They're two different things. Do you have enough money to live? Are you paying people a living wage? That's one part. But you can't say we pay you a living wage, but because we gave it to you all at once, you've spunked it up the wall and now you want more money halfway through the month. That's insane. I just don't think that's the solution.
I agree with everything you're saying, but when I started my first HR role, and it might have been my age as well, but when I first started it, I was a temp. So I was being paid weekly via an agency. That was sweet, man.
It is. It's nice. It's nice.
It was sweet. I was booking holidays.
When you contract, it's the same.
Yeah,
nice.
yeah. It was nice. And I did feel like I was managing my money better, but I also was 23 and I was living at home and I was just spending money like there was no tomorrow. So getting it weekly was better because it meant that there was a restraint on me. Like if I was to get paid weekly now, would it make any real difference to me? No, not really.
I think if I was to get paid weekly now, I would still have to, like, not me, but people in general, if you get paid weekly now, most people don't have so much money left at the end of the month when they've paid their bills. So if you get paid weekly, you're still gonna have to save some of it so that when the bills come out,
there's money there. Yeah, so it doesn't. That's what I'm saying. I don't think it would make a difference if I was paid weekly.
You
now.
Still have to do some level of budgeting to make sure that your bills, you had enough money to pay your. Because that's the other thing. You might not have enough money to pay your bills if you get paid weekly. Because if you have no self control and you're able to spend your money, but by mid month, all of it. It means that you might do the same thing, and actually, when it's time to pay your bills, you don't have the money.
Exactly. Yeah. But I think obviously in the climate that we are in, people being paid weekly, I can imagine it being helpful in some way. Like everything is up. Like this is personal in terms of like it's not about me, but my son's nursery fees are going up again. They're going up again.
They actually need stopping.
Like it's ridiculous.
They need stopping.
Like he doesn't even have long left at nursery. Like leave me alone, like, please. But everything is going up, so it would. I mean, more money would help essentially, but I'm sure it would help some people. Yeah,
I don't know if it would.
I think so.
Because if honestly, it means that you won't have enough money to pay your bills when the money hit. Because you have to go and save from your weekly pay every week to have enough money to pay your bills. And if they're spending all their money, then why would it be any different the other way around?
Yeah.
They let you access your money early, and we're going to trust that you're going to put the money aside.
Yeah.
Doesn't make any sense. In TikTok, find me if you like. I don't care.
Well, you know it's coming.
Don't care.
As you were talking, I was thinking, clip. Edit clip.
I had a case actually.
Oh, let's hear about it.
So, see, look, I've even closed it now because I was too busy looking for this guy with his mixed race parents. His white parents. Nah, looking at the pictures, it's actually mad.
Someone has explaining to do. Whether it's a grandparent or a parent, someone has explaining to do.
Okay, so there was a case that I saw which I thought was quite interesting. And it's an NHS case. You know, I love an NHS case.
Do you love an NHS
Basically,
case?
a nurse has won £41,000 at tribunal after she was left out of the tea round. So when they were going around making teas for everyone, they left her out. And it was one person in particular that orchestrated it. So this article is a BBC article. It says, a gifted nurse who was deliberately left out of the tea round by a colleague who said, I don't like you, has won a claim for unfair constructive dismissal at employment tribunal. So this has basically been going on for quite a while, since 2008, so for like 3 years, between 2018 and 2021. So there was an issue something that happened with a patient, and she had said, I don't like the way you did that. I think you should have done it this way. But for the right reasons, patient care, blah, blah, blah. And it kind of started a bit of a toxic relationship between them. And it just escalated to silly things, like when she was presenting in meetings, he would look away or he wouldn't engage. Like, you know how silly that is? Like, I'm presenting and so you're turning around and acting like you're not engaged. Lots of other little things. And it all culminated on in him ignoring her, saying morning. She would offer him tea, he would always decline. And one of the things that happened was that he would do the tea round and he would leave her out. And obviously it's not just about the tea, it's about creating a culture of bullying, making it a hostile environment. And so it basically went on. They tried mediation, and I was asking you before, how often does mediation have good consequences? Because or good outcomes rather, because a lot of time people just do mediation because they feel like they have to, or it's recommended by their ER team or their HR team. And so they tried mediation, it didn't work. She said that she really tried, and eventually she just felt that she couldn't go on there any longer. Like the environment was just too hostile for her, and she resigned under said it was constructive dismissal, and she won £41,000 at tribunal, which I think is crazy.
That's a lot of money.
Yeah.
Or
I can't remember exactly what the judge said, but obviously agreed.
also the case is very British. Like
It
to
is.
be left out of
It
the
is.
T rounds is very British coded. How childish of the
It's just childish.
of the guy.
And there's lots of other things, like he would send her emails and mark all of them high priority, which is just obviously creating a culture of stress,
anxiety.
and that was her manager. He was Mr. Nayak and she was Miss Hamilton. Basically the trust refused to acknowledge that it was bullying and harassment, and it went on for a long time. She was signed off sick, and it was like the tribunal basically said that she was really suffering and nothing was done about it. And she said that she couldn't handle another year of going through that, so she resigned. And when they added up all the different instances of all the things that had happened, they said that it did kind of come to a point where it would have been unsustainable for her to stay there, and it was constructive dismissal. So she won that £41,000. And it's one of those stories which was like, death by 1,000 cuts. It's like there was no big incident where he was like, I hate you, shut up, blah, blah, blah. There was a
Just
fight
subtle,
or something that he
like,
did to her or he harassed
yeah.
her. It was all these little things that just added up over time to make it so hostile for her that it was stressing her out just to come to work. And so people were like, oh, all of this over tea, ha, ha, ha. I should have made my own complaints.
But it's not about the tea.
It's not about the tea. It's all things. That's just one example of things that degraded her or made her feel left out purposely. And I literally think that bullying, whether you do it at work, whether you do it at school, is so bottom barrel. Like, and obviously when it's at school, you're literally kids. So obviously it's not good, but you're kids. So what do you know? You don't know any better. Well, you should. But when at work, I just think, imagine having a husband that is bullying someone at work.
That's crazy. That's mental.
Like this, like even a wife or whatever. But imagine this is probably someone's husband.
Projecting,
and you're bullying somebody at work. What would you do if you find out your husband's bullying someone at work?
I'd be so shy.
I'll be embarrassed.
That is so.
I'll be
immature.
Embarrassed.
Like, you're not a leader. What are you? Like,
exactly.
what is this? Yeah.
So you go to work to be leaving
bullying,
someone out the tea and talking down on somebody. And
how pathetic.
You would literally think that they were pathetic.
How pathetic.
So that's why I always think, like, when I come across these stories, or even in real life, like, so, have you ever been across from somebody in a tribunal, or not a tribunal, a disciplinary or something like that, a grievance, who has done something so dumb, something so bad,
every day,
and you look at them and you think, you're somebody's dad.
Every day.
They're like, oh, but they're telling you, oh, but I need to feed my kids and all this stuff. And you're like,
you didn't think about that,
yeah,
did you?
and you're literally thinking, so you're someone's dad. You're someone's husband. You're the steward of somebody's ship. I just think that's crazy, and you're here because you
did something so dumb. Yeah,
that's why I just feel like I always find it mad when people come to work and then they do dumb things, and you find you've got real responsibilities at home.
And this is what you decided to do. You decided
to
lay that all on the line for this.
I just think it's crazy. Like, that's embarrassing.
Yeah,
it's so childish. It's like, and they think it's like, what makes you think that you can get away with it?
A lot of people do. There's a lot. I feel like there's a lot of, like you said, death by 1,000 cuts. I feel like there's a lot of bullying going on in the workplace that is going like it's just not being acknowledged that it's going on, or people aren't even seeing it as bullying because it's little things and they don't know exactly how to articulate what is going on. Do you know what I mean?
No, I had a family member, I know you're aware, but I had a family member who was going through a case recently, and there was a HR person that was involved in that case. And it was like a bullying case and a harassment case. And I said, the way that HR person, I'm going to come across you
100%.
in some sort of professional context, and I'm going to bully you. So I said, you said God knows me.
Yeah.
If God should allow that person to come into my sphere, you already know what I'm going to do.
Yeah.
I'm going to harass you.
It's over for you.
I'm going to bully you. I'm going to create a hostile environment for you because the HR person contributed to it. And I was like, this is insane. Like, how can a HR person do this? It's so bad. And obviously HR people are just people, so some are good and some are not. But I've vowed, I've said it out loud now. So if God should allow that person to come into my orbit, that man is a man. If you allow him to come into my orbit, he knows what I'm gonna do. I will professionally embarrass you. You know, in legal field, there's a term called professionally embarrass. Oh my God, what does it mean? Basically, but I'll prefer, it's like if you're professionally embarrassed. Let's see what it means.
That's hilarious.
But I'll professionally embarrass you. I love that phrase. I can't remember exactly what it means, but it's just funny.
Professionally embarrass you.
In legal context, professionally embarrassed signifies a situation where a lawyer or barrister feels unable to continue representing a client due to ethical considerations or a conflict of interest requiring them to withdraw from the case.
Oh, so that's what happened with Diddy's lawyer.
You felt professionally embarrassed.
He withdrew.
But yeah, I'll professionally embarrass him in a different way.
That is hilarious. Can I say one thing before we wrap up this ep? Yeah. So obviously I've been fighting on TikTok with all the comments on different
As
roles.
per.
One of them is one TikTok that we put up about you can't trust HR.
Standard.
And people keep talking about how I say HR. Listen, you people that want me to say H.
Never, I'm never doing it.
They want me to. I am from the deepest of South London that you can find, yeah. And where I'm from,
clock it.
We say H, yeah.
H.
We say H,
big H.
And I'm gonna keep saying that. So all you people correct.
I actually write it.
Try and say H.
I would try. I will actually like when you say like an HR person. I write a HR person, and I am a proper stickler for like grammar and stuff like that. Fight me.
Literally,
come here
big facts.
and fight me.
Fight me. I'm gonna keep saying H.
H.
What are you gonna do?
H.
Beat me?
H.
Right, I'm gonna keep saying I'm actually from South. I'm from Southeast, the deepest of trenches you can think of. Yeah, and I'm gonna keep speaking how I'm speaking. And that's the problem with people out there. Yeah, you're judging me based on how I say one letter. Are you okay? Are you like actually okay?
But that's actually,
are you well?
That's that is actually classism as well.
Of course, it's classism.
Because if we were from,
because I know I'm smarter than you.
No, it is. And if we were from, and it's like certain accents as well, even other working class accents. If I was from up north and I said, "Hey, up," what are you going to tell me?
Exactly. Oh, don't say
you're
that.
You're going to tell me. If I say, "Oh, don't say now," you're going to tell me that's not a real word. No, you're not. You're going to allow me to say it because you accept that that's part of my vernacular, and this is part of my vernacular.
Exactly. It's literally classism because this is how I speak and it's how I talk. And it's not going to change.
Exactly. If you're a Cockney, we wouldn't be having this conversation.
Exactly. So just leave me alone. Like, just leave me alone.
when the Cat Slater said, what's her name? Zoe Slater said, "You're not my mother." No one was corrected her. No one was correct.
Do you know what I mean? Like,
get out of my pub. No one was telling her to sit out. No one said that to her.
It's almost like people are not used to the various different dialects and London accents.
And it's actually a dialect, and I need people
to
appreciate that it is a dialect.
It's a dialect.
It's a dialect. Thank you.
But I can tell what part of London somebody is from speaking to them.
Yeah.
If you're from North London, you speak different from someone from South and East. Like even the cadence is different, and I can tell. But obviously, you non-Londoners, you just sit here speaking on my name. It's fine.
Yeah, but I stand with you. Thank you. This is our dialect.
Yeah.
We should make a dictionary.
We should.
South London dictionary would bang. It would slap.
It would. It might be a like millennial version, but
no, but it won't just be slang. It'll be like
some of the phrases that the younger people are using. I just can't.
What?
It's just weird. I don't even know. Just weird. Like even that's dark.
What does dark mean? Is it good or bad?
No, it's bad. So like, let's say I say, oh, like I don't know, something about your eyebrows or something, but it's not a compliment. Then Gen Z would be like, oh,
like it's bad man.
Yeah, that's dark. Yeah, bad man. Yeah, that's dark. Yeah.
Yeah, but even certain things like which are just a bit more mainstream, like when they say your body is tea, like what?
Your body is tea.
I mean, I can still say it, but I'm like, it's actually dumb. Or something it's like body tea. You know how dumb that is?
I mean,
I know you'd be writing it too.
Yeah. You know, I watch Real Housewives. I'm all over that.
Oh, okay. Like, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff.
That's a wrap, guys.
Bye.